rapper King Von and his group were at Opium nightclub before making their way here to Monaco Hookah Lounge, then to the parking lot where chaos ensued. 26-year-old Devon Bennett, also known as rapper King Von, shot and killed after a deadly fight erupted in front of Monaco Hookah Lounge.
I'm letting this group come by. Next thing you know, a nigga hit me. It's like I had an out-of-body experience.
You're about to surrender as we speak.
Yeah.
How come?
Because I have nothing to hide. Like, I have nothing to run from.
Did you do it? Did you shoot this man? Did you commit the other crimes of which you're accused?
No.
Friday, detectives from Atlanta and Chicago testified in the criminal case against rapper Lil Durk in Fulton County Court. They say around 5 in the morning on February 5th, Lil Durk, whose real name is Dirk Derek Banks, and his co-defendant Devontae Bennett were seen on camera involved in shooting Alexander Witherspoon, a person police say they knew. The rapper and Bennett listened to the evidence against them in court. Police told later that night the victim, Banks, Bennett, and others went to a nightclub, a gas station, and ended up in the parking lot of the Varsity. That's when Witherspoon said he was robbed and shot.
Tonight, a judge denied bond for the artist whose real name is Dirk Banks. Banks is charged with attempted murder along with other charges. Atlanta police say the rapper shot a man outside of the Varsity in Midtown Atlanta restaurant.
This food delivery driver was picking up an order around 4:30 when he witnessed 2 cars stop in the middle of Oak Street. 4 men got out and started shooting. Word is spreading on social media that the 26-year-old man pronounced dead is a well-known Chicago rapper. A crowd grew outside Northwestern Hospital where he was taken, but still no official confirmation on his identity. A 36-year-old man and 26-year-old woman were also shot and are in serious condition.
It was back in August of 2020 that Carlton Weekly, who went by the rapper name FBG Duck, was gunned down in the city's Gold Coast while shopping. Attorney John Lausch says this is a federal case because it falls under federal racketeering organized crime statutes. Charged are 30-year-old Charles Liggins, 28-year-old Kenneth Robertson, 22-year-old Christopher Thomas, 22-year-old T. Carlos Alford, and 22-year-old Marcus Smart.
There are now 5 people in custody who weren't in custody before. 5 people who were alleged to have committed a murder in broad daylight in the middle of the afternoon in the city of Chicago, okay? And now it's known to them, and it's known to anybody else who might be committing similar acts of brazen violence, right? And who may brag about it or not brag about it, that their day has come.
31-year-old Tristan Hamilton performed under the name FBG Cash. Police say he was driving near 81st and Ashland when the shooting occurred. A 29-year-old woman who was asleep in the car was seriously wounded. Hamilton was part of a group of rappers known as the Flyboy Gang.
Right now, the search is on for 3 people who police say shot at a Savannah rapper, killing a member of his entourage. It happened in Los Angeles, and cameras captured aftermath. It all started at this mobile gas station at 5:30 Friday evening. LAPD says witnesses heard multiple gunshots, then watched a couple cars zoom off. 3 people in 1 car shot at this black Cadillac Escalade. It's unclear if those inside shot back. It ended at Santa Monica Boulevard. Deputies found it peppered with bullet holes and a shattered window. 1 man inside, a member of Ronto's entourage, had been shot. The 23-year-old was taken to the hospital where he died.
The rapper Lil Durk is arrested and charged in a murder-for-hire scheme. Prosecutors say he hired a crew who tracked, stalked, and attempted to murder a fellow rapper he had beef with.
Prosecutors alleging Lil Durk ordered the killing of fellow rapper Quando Rondo, with whom Durk and his associates have had a violent feud dating back to 2020. Rondo suspected of being involved in the murder of Lil Durk's friend, fellow rapper King Von.
Yo, what's up, people? We is back. Another day on Keep It G News. And we covering this Lil Durk situation, y'all, because for the better part of maybe a week now, Durk has been incarcerated on federal murder for hire charges. Crazy charges, y'all. I'm talking about charges that can sit Lil Durk down for either life in prison or the death penalty. And a lot of people speculating, not over here, but a lot of people are speculating that Durk actually is going to be charged with a lot more crimes. But in this video, it ain't all about Durk. As you can see, though, in them clips in the beginning, there's been a lot going on with Lil Durk maybe for the last, what we'll say, 5-6 years. A lot of death, a lot of destruction. But in this video, it's one constant that seems to be looming around everything that Durk had going on and currently still got going on. And that's King Von. Y'all, I believe that King Von may be the sole reason everything is crumbling. We talking about from the Oblock 6 to what Durk got going on now, y'all. Even Quando Rondo and the fall behind him. So in this video, that's what I'm going to explain. But in order for me to explain that, I gotta first introduce y'all or reintroduce y'all to King Von.
You say you from the O, right?
Yeah.
So what y'all got going on out there?
So we really trying to rebuild the community. Doing a lot of shit for the community, shit like that.
What's your story? My story, shit, I just got out of jail for beat a body into attempts, like, December? I just got out started rapping shit.
You got the reputation of a savage in the streets. Every time something happen, they blame Von.
I know, nah, they don't.
So nah, they don't.
I'm in jail for 2 murders? 1 murder and 2 attempts. I just beat. How you beat that? I mean, you didn't do it good.
You speak on your upbringing, you know how it was growing up in your hood.
Roaches, rats, all types of snakes, rats.
When you was locked up, or did you get up? Yeah, it's like, there wasn't no bail. You just have to wait, like, till that time. And you don't know what's gonna happen to the last minute till they tell you, like, alright, not guilty or guilty.
So how many times total you got booked?
3, 15 months, 14 months, and 3.5 years.
Damn.
How long were you locked up for? 3.5. How old are you? I know you young. I started, I got booked when I was 19. I just got out when I was 20.
You want to try, you go to court. Well, try, you want that shit happen like 4 or 5 days straight. You go to court, and they say what they got on your shit. So I had people come like, yeah, he shot me and shit. But people come like, yeah, he killed us. So it's looking ugly from the go. Like when somebody come and say, stand up to say, he just shot me. Ugly.
When did you start rapping? You started rapping before you got in, or 4 months ago? 4 months ago? Yeah, for sure. What you do?
You say you was on parole, so that means you served some time before the body?
Yeah, I was only out for 4 months. They all got booked for home before that.
How did you meet? How did it go? So when he got out, he just tried rapping. Like his first song was like super crazy.
Let me step back for a minute, y'all. I can't say that King Von is the sole reason for everything that Lil Durk got going on. You know, because that takes accountability away from Durk. And Durk got to be accountable for his own actions. But what I can say is, King Von was definitely a contributor. You understand what I'm saying? And the reason why I wanted to reintroduce y'all to King Von is because at the time of King Von's death, I don't think we knew that. I mean, no, now. Back then, because he was relatively new, y'all. Even though King Von had a huge impact, King Von's career only lasted 2 years. So in a 2-year time frame, how did King Von do so much damage that it's still a ripple effect 4 or 5 years after his death? You know? And part of the reason I think is because Durk might have brought King Von on too fast. You know, he might should have eased him in. If you listen to how King Von talked on the Breakfast Club and the 16 Shot Up interview, King Von was braggadocious. You know, King Von loved the fact that he was fed. You know, when people saying King Von, a lot of them tuck their tail because of King Von gangster resume. But what you got to understand about the streets and anything else outside of the streets is you can't take the street mentality into the industry. And I think that's what King Von did, and I think that's what ultimately hurt King Von. And by Durk being his friend, he overlooked the red flags. Because you heard King Von was locked up for the 1 attempt, for the murder and 2 attempts, but death was around King Von's name way before that. We talking about even as a teenager, because before he got locked up for those charges, King Von was already a suspect, or at least the hood thought that King Von may have done something or may have killed Jakara Bonds. Y'all remember her? It's documentaries on her all over the internet. Now, before she passed, King Von and her used to go back and forth and have little Twitter beefs and Twitter wars. This when Twitter was a real thing. Twitter back then was sort of like what Instagram is now. People have back and forth on Twitter and it blow up. It gets shared all over the place. And that's what King Von's relationship was to Jakara Barnes. But he made it seem like that he liked her. He wanted to deal with it. But in reality, most people think, even Jakara thought at the time, that King Von wanted to kill her. But King Von did an interview speaking about Jakara Barnes. And I want y'all to listen to how King Von constructed this interview.
When you tweeted once, you said you miss her.
Yeah. Cause we used to be talking on the phone. Like, that's somebody, like, say somebody you DM been talking to. And then one day they just gone. Now you like, damn, who the I'm talking to now?
We swing this back to Durk. We gotta talk about King Von, because it's very important for this video for y'all to understand who King Von was. Because most people would just be dismissive and say King Von was a demon. Y'all know, for the people that follow my channel, we don't do demon talk. You understand? King Von was a person that grew up in the projects. You know, probably experienced a lot of death in his family or around his family or just in his life in general. Matter of fact, I think his father was a victim to gun violence when King Von was either a kid or before he was born. I don't know the exact dates. But when you see how when Jakara's name came up in this interview, he played it off. You know, King Von was a guy that enjoyed and loved the streets. It's a lot of guys out here like that. But I don't know how that correlates into the rap industry. Because you can't have 1 foot in the streets and 1 foot in anything else. It always fails. Yo, the streets is a powerful force. And when you in the streets, it's either you in or you out. You can't have it both ways. This ain't Jay-Z and R. Kelly best of both worlds. It won't work. It won't work. And that's why it didn't work for King Von. And it's looked like it ain't working for Durk. But King Von, at this time, a lot of people didn't really know his music. Especially when he did the interviews with 16 Shot Him and The Breakfast Club. But King Von wasn't all bad, you know. That's why we don't do demon talk, because I believe demons are born. I think King Von was created through circumstances, through life experiences. He spoke about when White died, how that affected him. And I told y'all, when you lose somebody that close to you, you can either go 1 or 2 ways. You can even turn back around and say, this ain't the life for me. Or you can put your foot on the gas and go full speed ahead. But it looked like that's what King Von did. He put his foot on the gas and he ain't stopped until he was parked. If you understand what I'm saying. But King Von wasn't all bad, like I said, because King Von was one of them guys that looked out for the guy.
Yeah. You know, you know,
My wife be something nice now, boy. I love.
Yeah. Gang. Huh? Gang. Where my little showing at?
Now, even though what King Von did was honorable, you know, you gotta look out for the guys, man. Well, you don't have to. But if you're not gonna look out for the guys, separate from him. This is Young Thug problem. That's why he's going through what he's going through. But King Von took care of his people. There's nothing wrong with taking care of your people. But if you're real close to your people, you got to make sure your people is moving accordingly to how you move. You can't take care of your people when your people is in the streets and you this famous rap star, because the streets going to sink you. It's going to sink you. And I think Durk revered that. I think Durk idolized that in King Von, the fact that he was able to go back to his hood and break bread with his people. Because one thing about the black community, yo, that people from the outside might not understand is, yo, a lot of us come from messed up situations. You know, everybody ain't grew up in the projects. Some people just grew up poor. You know, some people grew up with the family structures. You know, it's crazy. So we come up with this mentality of, yo, when I get up, I got us. You know, because somebody got to get up, because a lot of times in certain environments, we never seen nobody make it. So when somebody do come up out of it, it's like, yo, you almost obligated to bring up the ones that you left, if you still going to hang with them. And at this time, you seen King Von drop that bag on Oblock, because King Von started to become a hell of a rapper.
Handbag too, red up baby blue, she get the smile. She ain't used to this, cause she ain't used to shit. I make shake, up in broad day. No face ain't no case. Learned that the hard way. Up Fitted Parkway. Fuck what the narc say. She phone them, got your back. He tried to rob, I had to blow. That boy was tweaking, bet he won't do that no more. I leave him stinky, this that tuka, this that dope. Put on for some guns when I was little. If he's still alive, we gon' meet him at the split. On the jail call, gotta talk in the room.
I think that with this newfound tandem between King Von and Durk, because at this time I said Durk was already doing this thing. Durk been rapping what, about 15 years. At this point, maybe it was 10. But this connection with King Von, it was like a match made in heaven. You got two guys from Chicago, from the streets. They going back to back like they was doing in the last song y'all just watched. Classic. And you would think that this would change the mentality of the guy. We talking about King Von now. Because you were far away from the streets, at least physically. But I told y'all, to separate from the streets, you got to separate mentally first. It don't matter how far physically you are away if you're mentally still attached. And I think King Von was very much so still attached to the streets. He loved it. He got a rush from it. And I get it. When you're young, that's what lures a lot of these young kids toward. It's an adrenaline rush. Give you something. A lot of times you do little minor crimes, give you something to talk about for a couple days. But King Von and Durk was doing their thing. And if you was to fast forward, if they could have did their thing for another 5 to 10 years, man, oh my God, ain't no telling what they could have done. King Von might have changed the narrative of who he was, because I believe over time people do change. But what happens is a lot of them go to prison or get killed way before we ever see a change. So all we know is what they was, and that's what we gonna judge them based off of who they showed us, and that's fair. That's fair. But a lot of times when you're dealing with these type of people like a Durk and a King Von, and when King Von came into Durk's life, King Von brought trouble, because when you mix fame, success, and money, a lot of times equals price.
Defendant Durk Banks, 19 CP 183973. This court finds probable cause for criminal attempt to commit murder, aggravated assault, participation in criminal street gang activity, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. As it relates to 19 CP 183693 involving defendant Davon Bennett, the court finds probable cause for possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, participation in a criminal street gang activity, aggravated assault, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and criminal attempt to commit murder. The court notes that, and as everyone is aware here, the standard here is a probable cause standard, which is a far lower standard than the standard beyond a reasonable doubt, which is the jury trial standard. And as it relates to the charge of participation in the criminal street gang activity, as to both of these defendants and both of these indictments, I do believe that the state has hurdled over that particular burden. I think they've met probable cause and they have been able to surpass probable cause. I do believe that the state has more work to do.
Said his chain was snatched off his neck and he had $30,000 stolen from him, and they stole the vehicle he was driving.
Police say Banks was seen on tape shooting a gun.
You see Mr. Banks' arm out the window firing several shots at the victim, towards the victim.
Well, Alicia, it was a long hearing today, lasting 3 hours. Lil Durk's pastor and record label all testified on his behalf, and at the end of it, the judge determined that the rapper is not a flight risk and granted him a $250,000 bond. Part of the stipulations for the $250,000 bond is he can't be near weapons, he cannot have contact with anybody involved in the case, and no association with gang members.
I know you're from Chicago. I know you probably know gang members, even if you're not in a gang. This is your freedom at stake.
This is your decision to make.
Y'all, this was the beginning of the end, if you want to call it that, you know. This is when King Von issues start affecting Durk. Because we all know Durk got a past, Durk got a history, Durk been in trouble, Durk went to prison before. But at this point, nothing that Durk has done since the world known him, you know, I'm talking about worldwide. Durk is a relatively big artist at this point. He ain't big as he is now, but he's bigger than he was when he first came out, if you get what I'm saying. But this is around the time when King Von decision making or King Von influence on Durk started affecting him, y'all. They went to Atlanta and got arrested. Hefty charges. You see how the judge talked to him. You see the process that they went through. At one point, people thought Durk and King Von wasn't getting out. It wasn't getting out, man. People actually thought that they was done. I'm going to keep it all the way real. You talking about attempt murder charges on 2 convicted felons. Man, you can cancel Christmas. So once these guys got out of jail, the judge told them they couldn't be around each other. I told y'all that King Von influence on Durk was negative. I think the judge seen it too. We got to break this up because this ain't working. You got King Von whose mind, body, and soul is still in the streets. And you got Durk who mind's still in the streets, but everything else is in the industry. Durk been an artist for a long time now. He getting money. So you would think this would quill things. This would calm things down, at least for King Von and Durk. But King Von, especially being as though he ain't been home from prison that long. But this wouldn't stop King Von. King Von still wanted the diss. King Von still wanted the beef. And one of the beefs that they had in Chicago at that time was STL, EBT, and Oblock. A lot of lives was lost. We ain't gonna get too deep into this video. But it was an artist from STL named FBG Duck. And him and King Von had...
Eat them dead, bitch. You heard about J Money? Yeah. Niggas getting dead the same way.
From 60. So I think if you was from Chicago, if you was just a person in the know, you kind of figured that a situation between Duck and King Von was going to end bad. It was going to end bad, man, because King Von really wasn't into dissing in his music unless he was willing to stand on it. And I know a lot of people like to say Duck wasn't knowing that. Yo, but that song Duck put out was very disrespectful. Not saying he deserved to die. But when you dissing in your songs, no matter how it go, if it's in retaliation to somebody dissing your block, or if you the one that provoked it, or you the one that started it, it don't matter how it go. Things happen. You know, I can't allow you to diss my dead partners, and my partners can't speak for themselves. Somebody got to speak for them. That's just the way of the world. That's how it goes. I don't make the rules, I just follow them, especially in this drill culture. This drill culture says that you can't just be a drill rapper and not actually drill. It don't work that way. You're not going to garner the attention that you're looking for just being a drill rapper if you're not participating actively in drilling. And I think King Von was well aware of that. I'm not so sure about Duck. I don't know how he was living. But I think most people, especially in Chicago, knew that this was going to end bad. You know, both these guys coming from the same neighborhood, a couple blocks apart, they both on a rise. Something got to happen because it ain't big enough for the both of us. And what ended up ultimately happening was FBG Duck was murdered.
Jury in Chicago has found 6 gang members guilty for carrying out the break-in rapper FBG Duck in August of 2020 right in the Gold Coast. The jury of 5 men and 7 women have remained anonymous during the trial out of fear of their lives. They deliberated for close to 16 hours over the course of 3 days before reaching a verdict. During the trial, prosecutors outlined a gang feud that was brewing for a week before the rapper was shot and killed. 6 men were convicted of murder in the aid of racketeering and conspiracy to commit murder. That carries a life sentence. FBG Duck, whose real name is Carlton Weekly, leaves behind young children. His mother says justice has been served.
I just want to thank the United States government for doing a very good job on making sure that these guys would never hurt another mom or another child again.
The sentencing hearing for the men convicted, that's set to happen in August and also the month of September.
Now, rumors were circulating during this time or after Duck murder that King Von put a $100,000 bounty on Duck. Now, this never was verified, but Oblock members was arrested and indicted. 6 of them ultimately found guilty for murder of FBG Duck. Got caught in the RICO. And what happened during this trial was a guy by the name of Trenches News that was from Chicago. He's currently a blogger. I think he the police. It's my opinion. And a guy by the name of FBG Butter, who was also from the FBG side and STL, and him and King Von had a feud that dates back however many years, came to court and testified on these guys. These guys are currently, right now, still waiting to get their time because their sentencing date keep getting postponed. Now, y'all know I spoke on this trial. I don't think the evidence was as strong on some as it was on others, but ultimately, everybody is still currently in jail with life in prison looming over their head. But King Von didn't stop there. Because what I think King Von issue was, King Von wanted to be known as the toughest rapper. You know, I'm the real deal. And ain't none of you niggas on my level. It don't matter who you is. I don't care if you NBA YoungBoy or whoever. If you ain't with us, you against us. And NBA YoungBoy at the time was coming up. Him, his NBA crew, Rondo and their crew merged together. You got Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and Savannah, Georgia. Them young boys was doing their thing. NBA YoungBoy, you can do a whole story on him. He had a lot circling around his name at once. So I think that's what drew King Von to YoungBoy, to start a beef with him because, like I said, I think King Von had a superiority complex where it can only be one. The world think you are the gangster artist, but it's really me. You understand what I'm saying? It's really me. And then you got situations where females played the role. Females always played the role. And that's why I showed y'all in the very beginning of the video what King Von said. Let me chill out. You know, females then ruin empires. And it's crazy that King Von said that back then because ultimately, that's what happened. That's what happened at the end of the day. If you look at everything, even the situation with Oblock and Teasy, females is at the center of everything. But I think also it was a little bit bigger. But NBA YoungBoy at the time, you know, NBA YoungBoy got a lot of kids. And it seemed like at this time, they was trading females. You deal with this girl, I'ma double back and I'ma deal with her. And, you know, that's gonna cause friction.
Why be a straight not catching this that? Nah, I'm just playing my brother.
Watch me since I was a little boy, as my grandma raised me. You hear me? You know I ain't no fool. What up?
Grandma raised me. You know I ain't no
About my wife? Huh? About my wife say, Ayana, get up. Get up. Come here. You talking about this girl right here? My wife? You talking about my wife?
To my bed.
He said wife.
You know, whatever. It's the same.
Who, huh? Who, huh?
Honestly.
You snatched it off his neck. Look at the camera with your scary ass. Let's snatch my chain off your neck. You ain't snatched off my neck.
But I got this, but y'all ain't take no chain off my neck. Y'all took it off.
You ain't face for me.
Right by the fence, I just got.
Ain't fuck up about shit. Oh, yo, skinny ass, so I bet I bitch your ass.
Julio let the hammer bust up one time and you bite the dust as little niggas down.
I love those fucking bitch.
What to make us say about it. Them drugs bring it out and I can't hide it.
YoungBoy talking about on this song, bro.
What?
You talking crazy on this man.
Oh yeah?
He ain't even like that. On his ass now.
On his
All that cap. You got cap in your raps.
Females, y'all, in the center of everything that King Von had going on. Janaea, who is NBA YoungBoy's baby mother. I don't know if she's the 6th, 7th, or 8th. Told you Shorty got a lot of kids. And Asian Doll. At the time, King Von was dealing with Asian Doll, but they had some type of falling out. Now you got King Von chasing behind NBA YoungBoy girls. NBA YoungBoy doing the same because at this point, it seemed like both of these guys got a point to prove. You know, YoungBoy ain't no sucker either. And I think King Von, that's what he fell short at. You know, you never underestimate your opponent. That's ultimately what got him killed, and I'm going to get there. But the center of this whole thing is them two females, man, because pictures came out that showed that King Von was actually with Janaea. Took out deep. Looked like they played a little game. I don't know. And then after that, you got NBA YoungBoy and Asian Doll doing the song together. So, of course, that's going to rub, you know, egos and pride get in the way, and something got to happen. Something got to give. But before that situation reached the breaking point, DJ Academics tried to be the intermediary.
Yeah, all right, so you wouldn't have no rap beef. You wouldn't be having no rap beef then.
Nah, hell no, ain't no rap beef. What? Ain't no rap beef, and it ain't no real beef unless somebody got shot or something, or unless somebody. People told me
you and YoungBoy was beefing or something like that.
Nah, they
something about what happened, Von? What's going on with you, man?
They be saying that a lot. It's like we got the same interests and holes, and then you know how the internet will try to make it.
Don't tell me I got problems over girls.
No, it's the internet, gang. It's the you know, they'll try to make it like that because it's the internet. You see what I'm saying? And then you know how females will try to make it like that because they females, and they'll try to make it like one motherfucker hard and try to. It be just all type of shit, but it ain't nothing too serious, nothing that you should worry about.
I got to say about King Von, right? And mind you, we're gonna get back to Durk, you know, but these are some of the things that King Von did, or King Von was a part of, that actually sunk a lot of people. It wasn't just Durk, y'all. A lot of people fell because of how King Von was moving. A lot of people, careers are in jeopardy and doubt. A lot of people died. A lot of people went to prison because of King Von decision making. But one thing I can say about him, even though he dissed in his songs, when he get on them interviews, he ain't gonna give you but so much. He always gonna play that role, similar to what he did in that interview I showed y'all where Jakira Barnes' K.I. name came up. Jeez, man, he act like, you know, I really wanted to be my girlfriend. To come to find out, the Feuds is a legend, that he the one that took her life. And similar to now this NBA YoungBoy situation, he got this interview with DJ Academics, and he playing it off. Man, ain't nothing like that, man. Ain't nothing like that at all. You know, we just got the same liking females. You know, it ain't really nothing major like that, but that was a lie. That was all a lie, y'all, because I don't really think it was like that. At least not when it came down to the females. I think King Von core beef with NBA YoungBoy was the fact that NBA YoungBoy was the hottest rapper out. And he was gangster. And a lot of people gave NBA YoungBoy the credit as being the realest young nigga out. You know, because King Von was a young nigga too. Even though he was older than NBA YoungBoy. And I just don't think King Von liked it. He didn't like it. So much so that on the day of his album release party, Welcome to Oblock, King Von bumped into Quando Rondo, and this happened. King Von was murdered on behalf of Lord Tim because he put his hands on Quando Rondo. Now, we heard the stories about this situation. King Von supposed to have been in the car high off pills, and somebody woke him up. We don't know who it was, and he just went, crashed straight out. And Lord Tim, in that situation, did what he was supposed to do. What do you expect him to do? Because don't nobody know what's going on. And if you knew King Von's resume, if you knew his history, you would think that, hey, this is how I gotta carry with y'all because I gotta beat him to the punch. Even though I think in this situation, King Von was just trying to fight. And the reason why I think he was just trying to fight is I don't think King Von respected rappers. I don't think he respected rappers. I don't think that King Von thought they was like that, you know, because he was like that and he looked at them as weak. But this is another situation where King Von underestimated his opponent because it's always better to be slept on. And you don't never get so high till you start looking down on people and think they are beneath you. And that's what ultimately ended King Von's life. The fact that he thought Quando Rondo was a sucker. He thought Quando Rondo was a rapper. He thought, I'm the realest nigga out. Ain't nobody gonna play with me just because that's what life showed him in Chicago. But one thing people gotta understand is no matter where you're a gangster, what city you in, you're a gangster there. That don't always translate. And in Atlanta, King Von put his hands on Quando Rondo, which prompted Lord Tim to murder him. But this is what leads to the domino effect. So now at this point, you got the Oblock 6 is arrested, charged, convicted. You got King Von, who's now dead. You got Lord Tim, charged with murder at the time. And now you have Quando Rondo, and you have Durk. You know, Durk ain't been in these last couple instances. I ain't mentioned Durk name not one time because Durk wasn't involved. Not directly. But when you take somebody on a level of King Von, people gonna feel away. Especially when after King Von died, Quando Rondo carried it like this.
And the fucking mayor and the police gonna cancel the fucking show, cuz that shit got me blowed. So we've been ready. On 6, so we've been ready to put a another nigga, on it,
Now, y'all, what I think hurt Quando Rondo the most is that he carried it like this. Now, he wasn't the only one. You had Mimo 600 going to Oblock. I think, what's the other boy name? 600 Breezy. I think he had some things to say. So it was a lot of back and forth trolling because King Von crashed out. Ultimately, King Von killed himself. But Quando Rondo didn't handle this situation the right way, y'all. He didn't handle it the right way. And I think that's what hurt Quando Rondo's career, you know, because he was a victim. And instead of Quando Rondo playing the victim like he was in that situation, because they was totally in the right with everything that happened, Quando Rondo tried to play the tough role. Now, I don't know who was behind Quando Rondo telling them this was the way to go, but this was bad advisory. If I was advising Quando Rondo in this situation, I'd have told him fall back. You don't even got to say nothing. Let the tape speak for itself, because at this time, you got Lil Durk, you got King Von on the rise, he the fan favorite. You fighting a losing battle. So what Quando Rondo should have did was play victim, but that's not what he did. He mocked, he dissed, he put out diss songs, he started smoking on Von. And when you got somebody like Durk, who's cool with King Von, they grew up together. King Von was his artist. They getting money together. They probably did a lot together, even though in this last year, so they were separated. But Durk is always with the guys. That's one thing you gotta know about Durk. He is always with the guys. And the guys gonna have influence. They always gonna have your ear. And I think if Durk was more separated, as opposed to being entrenched and around the guys 24/7, I think Durk's decision making may have been different. But who knows? Because I also think Durk got PTSD. I also think Durk is traumatized. I also think Durk lost a lot of people in his life, and life showed him it's a body for a body. Retaliation is a must. And with the Feuds is a legend that after the death of King Von, and this beef that Durk got now inherited from King Von's actions with NBA YoungBoy, led to the death a Lil Pipe.
Shots fired, a fight taken to the streets, and this chaotic scene, the ending of a shooting that started in Los Angeles, California. Sheriff's deputies pulling out a man who had been shot in an SUV. Savannah rapper Quando Rondo, a passenger in that car, frantic at the sight.
At this time, y'all, I don't think most people thought that Durk had anything to do with Lil Pipe death. You know, we always thought it was over a bad weed deal. That's the word that got put out there to the public, even though people probably speculated, you know, because the brazenness in that killing. But the word got out that Pab, it wasn't even for Quando Rondo. It was actually for Pab because he supposed to have been dealing with some guys on some type of marijuana deal. That's supposed to have been the reason they was out there. Who knows the real reason? But time went past. A year or two, 3 years, however long it's been since Pab was murdered. I think Pab got murdered in 2020. Now this is 2024. And the feds drop a bombshell of indictment charging Durk with murder for hire.
This morning, we're learning more about the arrest of Grammy-winning rapper Lil Durk on murder for hire charges. Now, he's being held without bond in a South Florida jail, and ABC's Ike Ajachi is here now with the latest on this one. Good morning, Ike.
Yeah, good morning, Gio. Rapper Lil Durk appeared in federal court Friday afternoon, charged with allegedly masterminding a cross-country murder for hire plot that can land him decades in prison.
But it's me, I do everything to show the main weak.
This morning, rapper Lil Durk facing murder for hire charges. The 32-year-old is being held without bond after he was arrested by U.S. Marshals Thursday in Florida.
Privacy will not be commented on.
The Chicago-based artist, born Durk Banks, is known for his Grammy-winning song, All My Life.
All my life, they be trying to keep me down.
Collaborations with Drake.
Surround Drake. Even though I got a case, I'ma do what it take.
And country artist Morgan Wallen.
They owe me, they tryna finesse me, they see me with Morgan and know that I rap.
The arrest comes on the heels of a federal indictment against 5 alleged co-conspirators of Durk's, also arrested Thursday in Chicago. They're accused of carrying out a 2022 hit targeting rapper Quando Rondo in Los Angeles, which left Rondo's 24-year-old cousin dead.
The suspects approached from the alley, got out of the car, and started shooting at those victims.
Included in the indictment are surveillance images of the shooting that officials say Durk ordered and financed, allegedly in retaliation for a 2020 shooting in Atlanta that resulted in the death of his friend, fellow rapper King Von.
You see Von, you see 40 glassy Booker, you see Mac.
According to the complaint, Durk was arrested on his way to the airport where he was allegedly scheduled to be a passenger on a private jet out of the country. Durk's representatives haven't commented. His latest post on Instagram shortly before his arrest promoting the release date for his upcoming album next month.
Banks appeared in federal bond court this morning. Now, details about the rapper's arrest or charges have not been released. 5 members of Durk's Only the Family group, also known as OTF, were indicted by a California grand jury this week on charges of conspiracy to commit murder for hire. Banks' arrest comes just weeks after he was named in a lawsuit which alleges the rapper had a hand in a 2020 gang-related deadly shooting of a Chicago rapper, FBG Duck, born Carlton Weekly. Weekly was killed in the Gold Coast neighborhood by a group of masked men as he waited to enter a high-end store. 6 purported gang members were convicted of carrying out Weekly's murder. Weekly's mother spoke with ABC7's Karen Jordan after filing the lawsuit.
Not a day goes by that I don't think about him and the life.
So the core reason as to why I thought it was necessary to do this video, y'all, is because King Von in Durk's situation is a prime example of why everybody can't go. You know, you can't always take people to the top with you. And then if you are going to be with you, if you is a guy that's from the streets, from the neighborhood, and you come up with your guys, and the minute you see that your guys is not in sync with what you doing, if you a rapper, whatever you doing, if this the route y'all willing to take, we gotta all be on that path. Or at least if we not all on that path, I gotta create some type of layers to protect myself from your actions. Durk didn't do that. The problem with Durk is Durk was too close to the streets. He was the voice. But you can also be the voice without actually being in the streets, you know. Voices travel many ways. You don't got to be as connected. So the Feds is alleging that Durk dropped a bag, don't nobody know how much, on Quando Rondo head, which ultimately got Lil Pab killed. But if you look back at all of this, it all started from a situation that King Von had going on. Everybody's, you can date it back to King Von, the FBG Duck situation, which led to the arrest of the Oblock 6. The Quando Rondo situation, which led to the indictment of Lil Durk and OTF Didi and OTF Vonnie and the rest of those guys. And then you got Quando Rondo, because you can't forget about him. Because I told y'all Quando Rondo didn't handle this the right way, so Quando Rondo wasn't even able to do shows, but ultimately messed up his bag.
You feel me? But I still appreciate everybody who came out. I'm gonna run this bitch out like it's 10,000 people there. Come on, shit.
So you got Quando Rondo, y'all, whose shows was pretty good, had a pretty good turnout. But this beef that he had with, or he didn't even have, this beef that NBA YoungBoy had with King Von over whatever reason, branched off into a beef where he had to defend himself that ultimately ended with him dissing back and forth, which hurt his career. So what are most street guys going to do in this situation? You got to, when one avenue of money slow up, you got to create another avenue. And most street guys are going to go back to the streets, y'all. I honestly think that the situation that Quando Rondo had with whoever he had it with, but it ultimately led to the death of King Von, drove Quando Rondo back to the streets. I could be wrong. He could have always been in the streets. But that's what it looked like to me. And it ultimately ended with Quando Rondo also getting indicted and arrested.
The rapper, whose real name is Tyquin Bowman, is accused of being the leader of the Rolling 60s gang here in Savannah. He's also accused of distributing drugs. The indictment says he drove to Macon to pay his supplier for marijuana. We want to remind you, a new Georgia law is cracking down on gang involvement. It adds a mandatory 5-year prison sentence for anyone convicted of a gang crime and 10 years for those convicted of recruiting minors into a gang.
Well, breaking news at 4, a plea deal reached in the drug case involving Savannah rapper Tyquin Bowman, also known as Quando Rondo. Bowman was accused of being part of a conspiracy to possess with intent to distribute and to distribute controlled substances. A hearing will be scheduled to accept Bowman's plea. The specifics of the plea deal are not clear at this time.
So at this point, y'all, you got the Oblock 6 arrested. You got Durk and OTF indictment. 6 of them is on that. You got King Von dead. You got FBG Duck dead. You got Lil Pab dead. All because of one guy that just couldn't leave the streets alone. Couldn't leave it alone. King Von wanted to show that he was the baddest. Couldn't nobody fuck with me. I got however many bodies, y'all don't. But look where that mind frame led Durk, who been in the industry for a lot longer than King Von, was more seasoned. He understood how to operate. Even if he was dipping and dabbing in the streets, it wasn't on this level. It didn't get this bad until Lil Durk decided to reach back and bring King Von up. But I said this, and I'm going to continue to say it because this is what this video is about. Everybody can't go. Everybody can't go, yo, because before all of this, King Von and Quando Rondo, I don't know if they was friends, but at least they was me.
Fuck that, come on, right now, tee up. 63rd. Now we coming, I'm coming up. You know, we on 64. We got most of this bitch.
Hey, we on 64 with this shit.
I don't get your Man, your teeth shining like a motherfucker on this bitch. Hold on, get your teeth in that bitch. Damn!
Y'all niggas steal some shit from me. Y'all 66. Y'all stealing ass niggas. Y'all niggas steal some shit. I'm saying though, they got 63rd niggas, some dirty ass niggas, man. Y'all niggas talking about, man. I'm talking about. Hey, listen though, man, the nigga on 64, man, y'all 63rd niggas over there smoking crack and shit.
Now, the more and more I looked at that video, I said, man, I see what King Von was doing. King Von was trying to swine Quando Rondo out because what you beefing with 63rd for? Why are you dissing 63rd because King Von told you so? And when I evaluated King Von and looked at his actions, I could see King Von walking away like, man, that boy a clown. I just made him diss 63rd. He ain't got no beef with Dev. Fuck is he different? You understand? But Quando Rondo think he's doing something honorable. He think he's being a friend. He think he's being cool. But this is what happens when you got small town thugging and big city thugging. It's totally different. No disrespect to nobody. But King Von looked at Quando Rondo as a goofy, which made him think that it was okay to just beat up on him. But the domino effect of what happened to everybody else behind King Von actions is devastating. Because now Durk is fighting for his life in federal prison for a murder for hire that he probably should have stayed back out of. And I told y'all, yo, it take growth and knowledge to realize, yo, you can't jump on every situation. It was a time in life where I jumped on every situation. And once you get to a certain age where you got people depending on you and you got kids that depend on you, a girl that depend on, just people that depend on you in general, you can't risk your life for other people's mistakes, other people's nonsense, because they can't detach themselves from the streets. They're going to bring you down. But that's your fault when you allow it. Because what Lil Durk should have understood was King Von was wrong. And I can't risk my whole empire. I can't sink OTF because King Von wasn't trying to grow. But that's ultimately what happened. Now, we're going to see what happened with Durk. Right now, he's only charged with one murder for hire. The evidence in that case isn't strong. It's a lot of misconceptions and rumors floating around from the OTF jam thing, and you know, a lot of falsehoods, but the truth going to be revealed. And if Durk did these things, Durk going to have to stand on it. The best thing that Durk can hope for in this situation is the guys that is arrested stay silent. You know, the best thing can happen out this situation if nobody say nothing and we get out there in court. But let me know how y'all feel about this in the comments. It's another day of Keep It G News.
Nigga can't do what I do, y'all niggas can't copy me. Let's keep shit G. Let's keep shit G. Let's keep the shit G. Let's keep shit G. Let's keep shit G.